So when the May 14th event happened, it was on the weekend. It was pieces of information and it was unbelievable what was happening. That Monday morning was a very different Monday morning in our office. As you might imagine, there was all different feelings, not really sure how to process what was going on. Someone came to our community from a community that we serve in the southern tier and, did this act of terror. So really trying to focus on how we support staff, how we support our volunteers, our children and families through this. Brought staff together, tried to figure out what our path was forward, but it was a really difficult time to know what to do during that time.
We live in a time in history where there is such a desensitization to violence, to things of harm that have come to marginalized groups. Kids aren't able to process what is happening, and our agencies need people to come alongside of them in serving youth. And so with Big Brother's mission being rooted in equity and our desire to serve all youth well, our hope was to put together an initiative in coordination with Dr. Tori Wieston-Surde that could support the aftermath and the effects of an incident occurring in a community.
So when I actually originally thought through the concept of the incident responders, I was thinking about just all of the sort of horrible things that were happening in the community and how young folks didn't necessarily have a way to process that. So when I brought that vision to Big Brothers Big Sisters America, I think we should have a response team, but for young people after these, tragedies happen.
The first step was to identify who, in terms of littles and families as well as volunteers, lived in that community as well as staff. And so we did have a fair amount of littles and families that were in that community, that was their tops. We also had staff members that was their tops. One of our staff members, she was brand new at the time. She was there when that tops opened, which was such a triumph for that community. They had fought to have access to a grocery store where they could buy healthy food for their families. It was a few weeks of people feeling comfortable trying to leave their house again, processing if they were safe in their community still. So it was a very difficult time, but as an agency, we realized during that time that we were part of the homes. We were very much, invited into families' homes. They're part of our network. They see us as a part of their village, but we weren't on the block.
And so healing-centered engagement is very different from, say, trauma-informed practices or other more traditional ways that we respond. It was actually coined by Dr. J.E.D.I, which is important to note. And he actually talks in this sort of groundbreaking article that he writes about shifting from trauma-informed approaches to healing-centered approaches. Let's help young people process and understand the context of what's happening around them. Let's help them to proclaim some power around these tragedies and these incidents. Let's help them to build community with elders and with one another. Let's help them to take action if that's something that they want to do. And let's recognize that all of these practices should be rooted in culture, should be rooted in identity, should really be affirming young people and loving on them.
Relationship Responders is relevant and valuable to their local community because in times of crisis, sometimes it's not the local community group that needs to respond. Sometimes it needs to be others that come alongside of them to support them as they respond.
It felt just really aligned with the work that they were doing with J.E.D.I. It felt like it was something powerful that sort of we could do together and in partnership with one another. And one of the things that I've always really respected about Big Brothers Big Sisters is that they're open. They see where they can fill a need and they know that they have impact.
Buffalo as a community is the city of good neighbors. And so, while this incident definitely left a remarkable mark on the history of Buffalo, we're working to ensure that we're raising children and building a community that this won't happen again.